Hello there, Algebra 2 students. This is Mr. Kashi speaking. During this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to take your original data and how to sort it and calculate some measures of central tendency and some measures of dispersion. So in the previous video, you should have gotten your data, and now what I want you to do is I want you to take your data and we're going to kind of be moving it around here and making it a little bit more presentable. So if you want to grab your data just like I did here, if you want to right click and cut, or if you know the shortcut, if you hold Control and hit X, that'll cut everything, and then you might want to move it down a few spaces here. And so want a little title. We want, in this case, this is prices for electricity. And this is my original data that was here. Okay, so and then you can spruce it up, and I won't spend too much time on this video making it look pretty, but you guys can do that. I'm sure you guys have had plenty of practice in other classes, things like that. So the first thing that I want to do is I just want to create a column. It's called sorted data. And what I want you to do is I want you to take the data and I want you to copy it. So you can right click and copy, or if you want to do the shortcut on the keyboard, you can hit Control C, and then I just want you to move it over there. So this is the same data as over there. So these are electricity prices from 1979 all the way to 1996. Okay, but this isn't really nice data to work with right now. Once again, I mean, you can make it look pretty and all this kind of stuff. By any means, go ahead and pause the video whenever you need to update your own data. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to format it. So you want to highlight everything that you need there. Go to the Format option up top, the Format menu. Go down to Number. And then just like Microsoft Excel, you have all these different ones. In this, we're actually talking about currency. So it's going to put the dollar sign on for me, and it's going to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay? And now this all it's rounded to the nearest hundredth. It has the dollar signs, but I also want to sort it. Okay? And I want to sort it from least to greatest. Now, it looks like it's pretty much in least to greatest, but right around in here, there's some that is not exactly in numerical order. So what I need to do is I need to go over here to this little filter. And you want to click on the filter here, and then it's going to show up as this. It's going to have this little green highlighted area. And you hit here, and then you want to sort from A to Z. Now I know it doesn't have A to Z, but it'll sort it in numerical order for you then. And so as soon as you do that, now everything is from least to greatest, and you have all your sorted data. So now we've taken that, we've rounded it to the nearest decimal point. If you're not dealing with money, you might want to round to the nearest whole number, maybe to the nearest tenth. It all depends on the data that you're collecting, and a teacher can help you with if you have questions on what to round to. So that's the sorted data, and now we have measures of central tendency. Okay, measures of central tendency, you can center that if you want. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to find all these different measures of central tendency. So the first one we're going to find is the mean. Okay, the mean. And so you want to title it, but then you want to go to an open cell right below it. And to find the mean, what you need to do is right next to the backspace, you have to hit the equals sign. Okay, and Microsoft or Excel or Google Sheets is basically just a big calculator. So as soon as you put that equal sign, you can do a whole bunch of calculating for it. What you need to start typing in is AVER, and then a bunch of these average formulas are going to show up. And so you just want to click on the word average right there in all caps, and then it's going to have this parentheses that comes up. And then what it wants you to do is it wants you to highlight all of the numbers that you want averaged. And so you want to highlight all of the numbers, and then you want to hit Shift 0, which is going to close those parentheses. And then as soon as you hit enter, it will come up with your mean data. Then if you want to skip a line, we can go ahead and find the median. You might be able to find that by hand just because it's in numerical order now. But if you hit the equal sign again and then start typing in median, M-E-D-I, that is what shows up. So you can click on that, and once again it'll have that left parentheses. So then what you want to do is you want to highlight all your data, then close the parentheses by holding Shift down and hitting 0. Hit enter, and it finds your median for you. And last one that we're going to be doing is mode. And so you do that, hit equal sign, start typing in the word mode, click on it, highlight your data, close the parentheses. Now in this case, it's telling me NA, and if you click on it, it'll give you a little explanation. Cannot produce a result, no values occur more than once. So there is no mode. So in this case, what I would do is I would want to go back and delete that and say no mode. Okay, and as you can see here, obviously none of those values repeat, and so there would be no mode. Sometimes after you round, it might look like you have some similar values. So like if I were to round to the nearest tenth here, these two values would look the same, but the computer doesn't round. The Excel sheet does not round. So technically you wouldn't recognize those as the same numbers, and the mode would not show up. It would have to be the original data that has the same numbers. And if you take a look over on the left, my original data has no numbers that repeat, so the mode does not exist. Then we're going to have our two measures of dispersion. Okay, and once again, we'll make it pretty later, but measures of dispersion. The first one is going to be the range. Okay, so if you type the range in, and then down below that, there's a couple of different ways that you could do it. Now that it's in numerical order, it's a little bit easier to see. But what I want you to do is I want you to double click on the cell underneath range, and then I want you to hit the equal sign, which is just to the left of the backspace. And then what I want you to do is I want you to click on your largest value. Okay, and so then it'll show up as what cell it is. And then I want you to hit the subtraction key, which is right next to the equal sign, or if you have a number pad over to the right, it'll have that. And then I want you to click on your lowest one. Then that cell will show up. And so basically you're just saying take whatever is in that cell and subtract whatever's in that cell. And then if you hit enter, it'll do that subtraction for you. Okay, so that'll be your range. And then if you want to come down here, and our last one is standard deviation. Okay, and standard deviation, you basically the same way to calculate it, how you always start out is with an equal sign. And then if you want start putting in, if it's going to be a little bit different, you put ST, and then instead of typing out standard, you go DEV. And then you have these different types of standard deviations, and we'll talk a little bit about them in one of our classes here, but one's dealing with population and sample and stuff like that. Really, you just have to do this simple one, just STDEV, standard dev. Then it'll show up, wants you to highlight the data, and so you highlight all the numbers that you want the computer to take the standard deviation from, and then you close the parentheses and hit enter. Now the standard deviation here is not rounded. Okay, and so one last thing that you would want to do, everything else here is in money signs, and when they take the standard deviation, they do not keep that same formatting. So if you would go up and make sure you hit format, and then just format it the same way that you have your other, so this is currency right here. Okay, and those are basically all the different formulas that I want you to do. I will have a copy of my final product up front, and you can see how I've basically done things just like centering and some bolding things that I've done, or maybe make the titles a little bit bigger and maybe do a border around the value, or however you want to do it. So some things that might be looking different on yours is you might not have currency, so you won't have the dollar sign. You might be rounding to a different place value. Okay, so it might not be to the hundredths. So you might round to the tenths or maybe to the whole numbers depending on your data set. And obviously these numbers will all look different. You might have a mode, your range might be bigger or smaller, and obviously they'll be rounded to different values as well. But whatever you have for your original rounding, we're going to just have that same rounding for all of our measures over here on the right. So hopefully a teacher will be there to, or I will be there to help out with any questions that you have. But those are the basic things that I want you to have for your measures for the stats project.